Hey, this is Charles Miller, Mr. C, on the Ministry Road. Go on the YouTube channel, Ministry Road, Charles Miller, you'll find us. Look up the sermon right here, number 64, Broken Spirit. You need some encouragement, you're kind of down in the dumps, the devil threw something at you that you just don't know how to handle. Listen, I'm going to get you through this life with as little regrets as possible, and we all going to get to heaven as icing on the cake, man. But listen to this sermon. It's a good one. Short 15-minute Good Morning God sermon. Go to the YouTube channel if you're not on it right now and listen to this. Broken Spirits by Mr. C. You'll be glad that you listened to it. It's going to help you out. I promise you. This is Mr. C, Charles Miller, on the Ministry Road. Thank you for joining us. We're here every morning at 8:30 on the Good Morning God. You see it right there, Good Morning God. We do it every morning. You know why? Because we're going to put God first in our lives, and we're going to wake up from our sleeping slumber. Got to say that slow. We're going to wake up from our sleeping slumber, put God first, get alive. I mean, I tell you what, we've been living the last 20 or 30 years going to church, sitting on a church pew, acting like some Egyptian mummy wrapped up in clothing or something like that, all right? But we're going to come alive for the Lord. What it does is when you have a broken spirit, something's wrong with you, something's going on, it'll cause you to stop praying. You'll stop reading your Bible. You might stop working out at the gym, okay? You'll stop the things in your life that is good for you when you have a broken spirit. I've never much seen anybody with a broken spirit where that part of them did them any good, because their spirit was broken. They was upset about something. You know, sometimes things in your life, you're going along just fine, and something happened to me, and I wanted to bring the part to show it to you, but my washing machine went out. Oh, man. Well, I got to tell you what about Mr. C. Mr. C is a cheapskate. Oh, yes, indeed, man. I fix everything myself, not because I want to, because I have to, all right? But my washing machine went out. All of a sudden, it just stopped turning. Huh? Boy, I ain't buying no new washing machine. That ain't happening. Oh, no. Man, I just got that thing 20 years ago. Broken already. Well, anyway, so I Googled it and all that kind of good stuff. And that washing machine, some people would just throw it away. Oh, it totally don't work. Oh, man, I need another one anyway. It's old. I'm old too, okay? All right, I hope you don't want to throw me away yet, okay? Just because some parts are broken on me a little bit here, okay? I need to, so anyway, that being said, I better be quiet for getting a lot of trouble, man. When I start talking fast and my mind gets going, I'll say, oh, let me take that back. But anyway, man, I looked at it, and you know what? I would have thrown that washing machine away because the whole washing machine wasn't broken. You see, in your life, not everything's broken. Just one little thing's broken or messed up in your life. Something happens. You lost your job, your car broke, this happened, that happened, but the whole washing machine wasn't broken. A little bitty old part that cost $5, man. Hey, ever your washing machine breaks, call Mr. C. I'll tell you what's wrong with it, okay? Okay? But anyway, one little bitty old thing, $5 part broke on it, and I'm thinking that the whole thing is no good. Oh, that stupid machine. Oh, man, I want to kick that machine. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with this thing, man? One little bitty part, that's all. You know what, in life, when someone is broken in their spirit and they're down and they're depressed, oftentimes everybody will gang up on you and tell you how you need to straighten up and what's wrong with you, and let me tell you what your problem is. Listen, man, you know what your problem is? Maybe you got your feelings hurt or something like that. Man, sometimes I'll take something the wrong way, and man, my feelings get hurt. Man, and I just go to pouting about it. I do that. I know y'all think I'm perfect. I know better than that. But not everything is broken. It's just one thing, for goodness sakes. The whole machine's not bad. Why do you think these people go along in the driveways and the highways and they pick up them lawnmowers and everything? Because people too lazy to fix them, that's all. They just go buy them another one, okay? And it ain't nothing but a little bitty old thing, all right? All right, that being said, talking about broken spirits, you might be You might be disheartened right now about God, about the world. Why does this God? The biggest question that everyone asks me, Mr. C, is this: why does God allow? Why did this happen? Why did that bomb go off in Beirut, kill them people? Why did this happen? Why this corona? What? Well, what is it anyway that all of a sudden when something goes wrong, it's God's fault? It's God's fault. That's another sermon, trust me, okay? But I gotta tell you what, and your spirit gets broken. And not everything is wrong in your life, honey. It's not. I say this all the time. I'm talking about broken spirits right now. You can get in your car and be 60 miles from here in 1 hour. And the way some of you drive, you'd be 100 miles away from here in an hour, okay? You change I've said this before, you change the air in your house, man, to the temperature, you eat 3 meals, man, you got nothing to worry. Your life ain't broken, man. No, indeed not. Sometimes I caught myself griping, okay? Griping because we had to go to the store, man. Oh, I don't feel like going to the store. Guess what, brother? I ought to be thankful that I got the money to go to the store. Man, God looks up there and when we griping and everything about having to go to the store or whatever, and man, he just like folds his hands and say, really? Really, really, really? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? My goodness. You gotta understand how God looks at things. Look, I understand things are going wrong in your life, possibly. This world gets depressing. But let me tell you what I do. You know what I do. I telling my cousin last night, I love my cousin if he's listening on. I love that boy. I would listen, and we were talking. I said, you know what makes me what I am right now? Man, I extremely believe in heaven. Oh, yes, I do. Honestly believe in it. That's why my spirit's not broken. I got excitement. Let me move on here, okay? I want you to identify in your life what your thorns in the flesh are, what your stick in the wheel is, what's those things that's keeping you down, man? Because there isn't anything in this life that can keep you down beyond the hope and presence and true, real Christianity. Listen, they had a boy, and and he was handicapped. He couldn't move. He was in his wheelchair. And one of his friends asked him, he says, hey, listen, let me ask you something here. He says, what's that? He says, man, you paralyzed and everything. He says, why, he says, what happened? He says, oh, I was paralyzed from birth, my brother. I've never, ever been able to walk or feel my legs or my feet or anything. Never? No. He says, man, and you got such a good attitude. You're one of the nicest people I know with the biggest problem I know of. I don't know anybody that's been paralyzed from birth and can't, from his, his chest on down and so forth. I don't know anybody like that, but you are happier than most people I know. He said, well, why is that? He said, that don't make any sense. You are the one ought to be griping about life. And that boy looked at him and said, you know what? He says, I got to tell you one thing. My body is paralyzed, but I can tell you one thing, my heart ain't. I still love God. I adore God. I seen that old boy that gets up there. He's one of the most tremendous motivational speakers in the world. Don't have any arms, don't have any legs. And he gets up and people come to hear him. I forget his name, okay? People come and hear that boy. I think his name is Steve. They come and hear him. You know why? You know what he talks to them about? He talks to them about not having a broken spirit and not being broken in life and realizing how exciting life is. Coming from a guy that don't have no arms and legs. And you drove in a nice car, did all kind of stuff, played baseball yesterday evening, and this boy got to tell you that life is wonderful. Go and figure that. Hey, listen, I'm preaching to me too, okay? I am. Just so that you won't get your feelings hurt and run off on me. Man, we have no reason for a broken spirit, but I know many of us does, okay? Not everything is broken about you, and there's always something to praise the Lord for, and don't let the devil harden your heart, okay? In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, real important thing right here, okay? Proverbs 4:23. It says, keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, for out of it flows the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. Keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, for out of it flows the spring of life. What is it that changes your heart right now, okay? Let me tell you what'll change your heart is your perception of God. Your perception of God can change your heart. Let me tell you about that. It is a study and it is an absolute fact, and I thought about it myself in my own life. The same sex person, in other words, if you're a son, your father will have affected you more than anybody in life. Normally, your girl, your mother will have affected your thinking more than anybody in life. So, if they will give you a perception of God and you will draw it from them, that more than anything. If your dad was hard-nosed and a real tough guy, a military guy, you will perceive God that way. You might have problems asking for forgiveness of your sins because you figure God's going to punish me. I'm on my dad. Then let me get away with nothing, man. Or you might have a parent that said, oh, don't worry about it. Don't do it again, okay? We're going fishing, right? Yeah. Okay, don't do that again, man. Come on, man. You know better than that, you old knucklehead. And you're going to perceive God that way. That's why Mr. C tells you all the time, man. Quit cursing around your kids. Quit flipping people off. Quit shaking your fist at people, man. Quit telling everybody and relating to your sister or your brother with your kid listening right there and about what you're going to do and how mean you can be. Man, don't do that to your kids, man, because they're going to perceive God to be the same way. It's an absolute fact. Don't do it, man. Y'all stop it. I love to get on y'all, boy. I love to see y'all faces right now, man. Like, oh, Mr. C. Mr. C. Anyway, but a person's perception of God and their heart can be broken and damaged by the way that they perceive God. All right? Tragedy in our lives, and I'll say it this way, is a blessing, can many times be a blessing in disguise. It most always was. Tragedy in your life can be a blessing in disguise. All right, let me move on here real quick. All right, I could preach an hour on this stuff, man. But anyway, listen. When I went and visited, and when I was doing some freelance writing, and it was a study of mine, I had spoken to many of the victims of the concentration camps. You know, I say that all the time. And I talked to Miss Hadassah Rosensaft. She was a victim of Joseph Mengele himself. That's another whole sermon, believe me. How the devil wanted to eliminate the Jews so that Bible prophecy couldn't take place. Boy, that's a good sermon. It's coming up. But anyway, and I asked Hadassah, I said, what was the worst thing ever happened to you? And she told me some horrible, horrible stories about what they did to Jews in the concentration camps. And I said, well, Miss Hadassah, how did you guys survive? How did you make it from day to day? She said, oh boy, from day to day? How's about from minute to minute? We might be able to take that down further than that. Okay, but from moment to moment, from breath to breath, when you got somebody that wants to kill you, going to kill you, killed your family, hates you, wants to send you to hell, he says, you know what you do? We sang. We sang. We all got together and we held hands and we sang our religious songs. Because you know what? And one of the songs that we would, you're going to make me cry. One of the songs that they would sing had to, and I don't know Jewish language, okay? But one of the songs that they used to sing had to do with something is, you can break my body, you can tear me down, you can stomp me, you can crush me, you can break my body, you can break my bones, but you cannot break my soul. You cannot break my spirit. Oh, yes, indeed. That came from the very mouth of a woman that has went through the greatest atrocities ever that I was able to speak to and come close to her. But anyway, all that being said, I'm trying to tell you one thing. There isn't anything that I think that is a big enough excuse, and I know of us have many tragedies in our lives. Trust me, I'm not trying to downplay them, but Nothing is big enough to break the spirit when God gives us so much hope. One last illustration I'm going to give to you right now. When you think things are going so wrong, so bad, woe is me. When you think that your spirit is broken, when you think that things is tough, it can't get any worse. Oh man, when you think that can't happen, like the fella, and this is a true story. It was in Hornville, in Hornville many years ago, in the 70s, I think, or the 80s. And I remember the story when the ferry, when fella goes up to he pulls up to the ferry landing, and all of you guys that catch that ferry, okay, man, you get there, and all of a sudden, man, oh, they stop it, and the last car was the one before you. Now you gotta wait for that thing to go across the river and come back, and you're cursing. Oh, you're all mad at God. Here we go again. You missed the ferry. You the one that got up late. And it's God's fault. You got a broken heart. You're all messed up now, okay? Man. And he watched that ferry go away. And as he's all upset because he missed that ferry, you know he's upset he missed that ferry by one car. And he watched that ferry get hit as an accident, tragic accident on the Mississippi River, when that ship hit the ferry and everybody went to their death. And he was like, wow, man, if I would have gotten on that ferry, wow, look at what would have happened. Listen, in this life that we go through, you have no idea how many times God probably saved your life. You have no idea how many times cancer was forming in your body, and you praying that day, you a godly person, and God says, we're not going to have that, and you didn't even know about it. Didn't even know. Anyway, all right, all of that being said, I believe I made my point, okay? I pondered it in you, okay? All right. Hey, listen, there's no reason for a broken spirit, okay? God is a great God. I encourage you. I got a series of sermons that I'm coming up with. Trust me. There's sermons that I'm not ready to preach you yet, okay? You might not be ready for it just yet. But one of them is I'm going to talk to you and tell you about the excitements of heaven. The things about heaven that we know is real. I mean, what is it like? Come on, man. We're going to sit on a cloud and dangle our feet and drink some tea? Now, I got to be honest with you. That'd be good enough for me, okay? Oh, no, indeed not, man. What are we going to do in heaven? Are we going to laugh and play? Are we going to cut up? Are we going to have job responsibilities? Hey, let me go a little deeper. Are there going to be animals in heaven? Can my cat come? I love my cat, man. I wonder if my cat going to be in heaven with me at that point. Now, Mr. C, you going off the deep end and making up stuff. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to tell you about heaven. You know why? That way, you won't have no broken spirit no more. How you like that? All right, listen, I'm going to put the music on. I had a lot of fun with you this morning. It was one of those sermons that I'm just excited about, that's all. Sunday, I'm going to start a series of sermons. I'm pretty sure I am. I'm not going to finish that sermon. I'm not going to finish that sermon